A very good morning to all the students. I hope every one of you is fine and doing well. So, with the continuation of the topic which we're doing previously in our previous lecture, today we're going to study the reproduction in human beings. Now, we all know that the human beings undergo the sexual mode of reproduction. So, for this, an individual has to be capable to undergo the reproduction. So when the young boys and girls becomes mature, they grow up, there is a stage which is called as puberty. At this stage, the individual boy and girl, they start releasing the sex hormone and they become sexually mature to undergo the reproduction or fertilization. Now at this age, the sex hormone starts releasing, which helps in the production of gametes. Gametes are the cells which are involved in the sexual reproduction, or they are capable of fertilization. So there are two types of gametes, that is, male have different gametes and females have different gametes, and the sexual reproduction undergoes during this fusion of these gametes, which is called as fertilization. Now, testes. Testes are the male gonads. Gonads are the glands which produces the hormones or sex hormones. So, testes produces the male sex hormones, which is called as testosterone. So, testes are present in the males only, and the ovaries produces the female hormones, actually two female hormones, which is called as estrogen and progesterone. So, ovaries and testes are basically the glands or gonads which produces the sex cells and the sex hormones. Now, gametes are the cells which are involved in the sexual reproduction, and we know that there are two different gametes. Male has sperms as their male gametes, or we can also term them sex cells, and female has the gametes called as ovum or ova or egg. So both are the same thing. Ovum and ova. Ovum is a singular and ova is a plural, and we can also call them egg. So when the sperm fuses with the ovum, that process is known as fertilization. So the fusion of male and female gametes is called as fertilization, which you have been studied in your previous classes. Now, definition is the fusion of a male gametes with a female gametes to form a zygote. So the main thing is the production of zygote, and when the zygote will be produced, it will become mature into a new individual. So during the sexual reproduction, when there is a fusion of male and female gamete, for the production of zygote is known as fertilization. Okay, so coming to the puberty again, the puberty is a stage of any individual in which the children or the young ones, like young boys and girls, basically starts from the age of 13 to 14 in the case of boys, and from 10 to 12 in the case of girls. And in this puberty period, for the boys, the hair under the armpits and their pubic area starts growing, their voice becomes thick, and their shoulders and chest becomes broader, and then there's a formation and the enlargement of their sexual organs, that is testes and penis. So, and then the production of sperm starts forming. So that is the stage which is called as puberty. In this, an individual is capable of the sexual reproduction. In the case of girls also have the development of hairs, and their mammary glands are enlarged, and the starting of the development of the mammary glands, and then there is extra fat deposited on their body parts like thighs and all, and the fallopian tube, uterus and vagina enlarges, and ovary starts releasing eggs, which results in the menstruation cycle. So these are the things which are in the puberty. So when the puberty hits an individual, young or a boy or a girl, they are capable of reproduction or sexual reproduction through the process of fertilization. Okay, so now what are the advantages of sexual reproduction? Because we have already learned about the asexual reproduction. So why this nature has evolved to this? We have already discussed this topic in our previous lecture, but here are some quick topics which I would like to explain you. As we know that in the asexual reproduction, the offsprings are almost identical to their parents because they have the same genes as their parent. So the genetic variations is not possible in the asexual reproduction. So this is the main disadvantage of asexual reproduction. So in the case of sexual reproduction, there are some advantages, like there will be a variety in the population. Variety in the population will happen because there will be fusion of male and female gamete. So since the offspring will receive some of the genes from their mother and some from their father, so because of that, the new one which is born will be sharing the genes from their father and mother, and it will be a different combination of genes. So all the offsprings have a genetic variations. Because of that, there will be a variety in the population. There will be variation in the population, and every individual will be different. So the surroundings will also have a different species, like because there are always some individuals which have the other properties, or the individual will survive and reproduce themselves. So the best one will survive, and then they will reproduce the best one, and then we can also get the origin of new species. And the genetic variations is always there because the diversity will be there, which will be providing the genetic variations. And then the sexual reproduction also plays an important role in the origin of new species because they will be having different characteristics. These genetic variations will lead to the continuous evolution of the various species for the better or to form the better organisms. And all these things can only be possible in the sexual reproduction because there will be fusion of gametes. So the offspring will be produced by the two different kind of cells, and it will obviously be a different one. But in the case of sexual reproduction, there is no possibility of genetic variations. That is why the sexual reproduction is the better than the asexual reproduction. Now, in the case of sexual reproduction, since the cells are fused but the DNA remains not same, it does not get doubled because we have 46 number of chromosomes and we have 23 pairs. So we already know that in the gametes are the special type of cells which have only the half amount of chromosomes. That is why they are called as haploid cells. And because the half number of chromosomes comes from the mother and half from the father, so the number of chromosomes are maintained. Okay, so now after this we're gonna move to the main thing, that is the male gonads and the female gonads. So for studying that, we have to study the male reproductive system. So with the help of NCERT book, I'm going to teach you that here is the diagram of the male reproductive system. As you can see clearly here, there are some main organs which are very, very useful. This is the important topic. Every time in the exams, one question or the other, like for the short answers or for the long answers, always comes from this human reproductive system. So you have to study the topic very thoroughly. So here, as you can see, the organs, like this is the ureter, this is the bladder, prostate glands, penis, urethra, testes and scrotum, and vas deferens. Now first of all, these are the testes, like these are the gonads where the sex hormones will be produced. That means the testosterone will be produced, and the testes will be producing the sperms, and testes are enclosed in a sac like structure which is called as scrotum. Okay, so testes are enclosed in a sac like structure called as scrotum. So from the testes there is a tube which is called as a duct, which is named as vas deferens. So this is a tube which will transfer the sperms from the testes, and we can also call it a sperm duct. Okay, so this duct will carry the sperms from the testes. Now testes are not inside the body, but they're outside the body. They always hang out the body because the temperature they need is to be less from the human body. So because they need the testicles have to be there in the lesser temperature than the human body. That is why they don't reside inside the body. They just hang outside the body because they don't want much temperature, because if the temperature is high on testes, the sperm production will be reduced. So these sperms will transfer from this tube which is called as vas deferens, and it will go along to this path. Here you can see that it's a ureter. Ureter is the tube which carries the urine from the kidney, and the ureter will throw the urine to this urinary bladder. Now bladder will also have this tube like structure which is called as urethra. Now this urethra will mix with this vas deferens. Now after this area there will be only one duct. So the penis has only one opening, which is just urethra. So both the urine and the sperms come from the same passage. There is only one passage. So the size of the penis is quite small, but when the muscles contracts, it becomes enlarged, and which allows the sperms to pass through it, and these prostate glands and seminal vesicles allows the sperms to travel easily, to transport easily, because they produces a liquid which contains nutrients, which is called as semen, which is a thick liquid in which there are sperms. So it helps the sperms to move easily, and they also give it nutrition for the survival in the woman's body. Now after this we're gonna move to the female reproductive system. Now in this we can see here the diagram is, in this male system we are just seeing one portion of the side of the body. There are actually a pair of testes, so there will be two testes in the scrotum, so we can only see the one, but actually there are two testes and they will produce these sperms. So same ways in the female body also there are a pair of ovaries here, both the sides. So in the human reproductive system for the female consists of various organs which is called as ovaries, oviducts, then these tubes called as fallopian tube or oviduct, which we can call it anything, and then uterus here, and then this cervix and vagina. Now these ovaries are oval shaped organs which are inside the abdominal cavity of a woman. They are just near the kidneys. So every female has two ovaries, and these are the primary reproductive organs in the females. Now the functions of all these ovaries are to make cells, sex cells or gametes or ova or eggs. Then they also produces hormones, sex hormones, which is called as estrogen and progesterone, and each ovary is having thousands of follicles which will be formed, which these follicles are actually the unripe eggs or unripe ova. But when a female child is born, they have all the number of these unripe eggs or unripe ova, or we can call them follicles, which will be there in her body, and the number of follicles will be produced as a number of eggs in a female body. But when the female becomes mature, or when they hit puberty, so these follicles mature and they form eggs and ova, which are required for the fertilization. So these ovaries also have tube-like structure which is called as oviduct or fallopian tube. So they are not directly connected to the ovaries, but they have a funnel shape, which you can see here. They have a funnel shape opening which almost cover the ovaries, and the ovum or the egg, when released, when it's released by an ovary, it goes to the oviduct, and then through the funnel shape opening, the fertilization of the egg or the ovum by sperms takes place in this oviduct. So these are the two oviducts which connects through a narrow, you can see a narrow opening which is called as cervix. This will go to the cervix, and to the another tube which is called as vagina. So this is a tubular structure which is also called as a birth canal, because it is used as a passage from where the baby is born after the completion of the development of the fetus or inside the uterus of the mother. Vagina is not the opening passage for the urine, because urine does not come out from the vagina, it comes from the comes out from the urethra. So females have two different openings, but the male have only one opening that is used for the urine as well as for the sperm release. But in the case of females, there are two different openings, one for the passing urine and one for the child's birth. Now the female, when this estrogen and progesterone starts releasing, each ovaries will produces the eggs, and when the eggs are not fertilized, the eggs will come out of the body through the blood, in the form of blood, which is called as menstruation cycle. So these are the organs which I have discussed today. So fertilization will be taken in the next lecture, because that is a long process which will take another next whole lecture. So till then, please practice the diagrams because they are very important. Learn all the names of the organs which are part of the reproductive system of male and female, and practice the diagram. It will be helpful for you, and do all the question and answers. Take care. Thank you.